Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bird Whisperer radio show, coming to you live from the Congaree National Park in beautiful South Carolina, USA. We're going to be discussing the wonderment, the beauty, and the awesomeness of our beautiful, beautiful feathered companions. We're also going to have fantastic guests on to share their beautiful moments, experiences, and perhaps maybe a little bit of help and advice to come your way to make your relationship between you and your bird so much better. We'll be right back. IQ Air, the #1 rated air purifier worldwide. Someone asked me once, how much do you really love your parrots? I replied, more than life itself. Then I was asked, do you have a clue as to how much more sensitive the lungs of a bird are than a human being? To be honest with you, I had not considered this. I researched some of the leading brands, such as Austin Air, Rabbit Air, which by the way we have used in the past. Then I discovered the IQ Air Health Pro Plus. I kid you not, within 1 hour the quality of the air inside my sanctuary was totally awesome. Please allow me to simplify this for you. The filtering process of IQ Air Health Pro Series Plus blocks and holds the super tiny particles, the ones that you cannot see with the naked eye. These are the bad boys that pass right through the filters of so many other purifiers. These particles are the ones that are deadly to you and your companion bird's respiratory system. With all due respect, you may think the current purifier systems you are using are working adequately for you and your companion birds. Please, stop fooling yourself. Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc., including all brands coming out of China, are simply a waste of money. Bottom line is this, my companion birds are worth it. My family is worth it. Did I happen to mention that IQ Health Pro Plus systems are the #1 choice by doctors who recommend them to their asthma patients as well? iCare truly stands behind their Health Pro Plus series purifiers. 100% guaranteed against any and all defects for 10 years. If they fail due to defects, IQ Air will fix or replace it for free. This includes everything. All you need to do is register your IQ Health Pro Plus series purifier within 30 days of purchase to be eligible for their 10-year limited warranty. Please call 1-866-488-1918. That's 1-866-488-1918 to talk to an indoor quality expert. IQ Air 10-year limited warranties only apply to IQ Air products purchased in North America, directly from IQ North America Incorporated, or from an IQ Air authorized dealer. Use the code IQ53182. That's IQ53182 to get an awesome 10% discount on your purchase. One more thing, just so you know, we are not receiving one single dime regarding any sales from IQ Air. We negotiated this code for you. This is also for all dog, cat, and pocket pet people as well. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to your show. I am Michael Cox, your host this evening. We're honored to have Christine of Christine's Chop Shop with us this evening. Christine is an extraordinary person who does incredible work for the avian community. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for cutting into some of your time there. When I definitely know that you're very, very busy with all that you do. And I would like to begin, if you wouldn't mind, would you please share with us what Christine's Chop Shop is all about? It's really hard to say that 10 times real fast without stuttering over it. Have you tried it? Chop, 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 chop. Never mind. And,
No, I haven't.
and you know, I tried to be real careful here and not sound like I was dropped a lot as a child, you know. But anyway, share with us, please, what the Chop Shop is all about, how you got going with it, and what you do, please.
Well, we provide nothing but healthy food for the avian community. In doing so, we we make sure that most of our recipes are vegetable based. We don't use, we use organic ingredients when we can, when they're available. We use fresh, locally sourced produce. Living in Arizona, we have 365 days a year growing seasons, and we have lots of produce here. We're a big farming community. And so we can get tons of fresh vegetables and fruits, and we use those in our recipes. Chop Shop started when I rescued a little African gray. She was at 8 months old, severely malnourished. She was barely able to perch. She had been plucking and eating her feathers, and we weren't even sure if she was going to survive. I started trying to change her diet. She had been on a seed diet even at 8 months, and she was completely addicted to them. If a bird can become addicted, she was. I did as much research as I could and worked with certain avian experts, our veterinarian, and started feeding her a healthy diet. She was my second bird. I had raised my male African gray from a baby, and at that time did not know that a seed diet was not healthy for them. But rescuing Ruby changed my mind very quickly. So I started developing products, feeding her lots of fresh vegetables and fruits and produce, and I developed my calming crackers, which are pellet-based, but we use lavender and chamomile, which have a great calming effect, and she loved them. She started turning around immediately. She became stronger quickly. Her feathers started growing in. She started growing and looking so much better very quickly. And my friends saw the changes in her.
So, excuse me real quick. So you mentioned lavender and chamomile as calming agents to kind of help her to shy away from wanting to be, self-mutilation and things of that nature. Would you say that that's kind of like two really awesome secret ingredients that can be used to help birds in that particular situation?
Absolutely. They're not secret anymore.
Well, you know what? The whole idea, though, is that we share the knowledge because, when the day, at the end of the day, my philosophy is simply this: I want the bird to win, and bless your heart. Yeah, bless your heart for doing that. Please continue.
Yeah, the chamomile and lavender, I'm all for the more natural approach first. I believe in medicine, I believe in science, but I always want to try a natural approach first. I believe that it benefits us as human beings, it benefits the birds. And so I tried the chamomile and lavender, and it worked. It's got a great calming effect. They love the taste of it. I buy organic flowers. They're dried, of course. You can give your birds chamomile tea if they're very stressed, if they're hormonal, if there's stress in the home or change in the home. It's not something that I would keep my bird on forever, but to help them get through stressful times, you can replace their water a couple times a day with chamomile tea that's been brewed kind of weak. You don't want to give them a huge dose.
That's what I was gonna ask you, is regarding how strong or how weak this should be.
It should be fairly weak because look at a bird's weight in comparison to our weight. We use a tea bag in a cup of tea. I use one tea bag in about 2 quarts of water, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator. And like I said, I'll replace their water with it a couple times a day if there's a lot of stress going on. Many birds, there's the 2 main reasons that birds are going to pluck are stress or hormones. They'll stress. Ruby is very hormonal. If they're going through a lot of hormonal feelings, that time of year, which seems to be endless anymore, and and nutrition. Nutrition is a huge factor in birds plucking. You know, when I was developing all of this stuff, I noticed with Ruby that I would always go back to the seed diet or add seeds to her diet. I did not know any better. And the more I gave her seeds, the less healthy food she would eat. And it came to a point that I finally just threw the seeds away. We do not have quote-unquote bird seed in the house. It's not a healthy diet. That's not to say that there are not many healthy seeds out there for the birds, and we do use those. Flax, chia, hemp, sesame seeds, all of those are very healthy for birds. I just don't use what people purchase as bird seed. And I noticed with her, the more seeds she ate, the more she plucked. And it was a nutrition thing with her. I have 5 African Greys now. 4 of them are rescues. 3 of the 4 have been completely refeathered. And it's all been nutrition based.
Awesome. Awesome, yeah. awesome. Totally awesome. Listen up, peeps. Christine, please go on, man. I'm just getting really charged at what you're saying here, and you. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but you're going to help a whole lot of birds tonight with what you're sharing, and once again, bless your heart for the heart that you have, the awesome artistic endeavors that you've taken and embarked on here to make it better for bird. You're second to none, girlfriend. Please continue. This is just awesome.
It's so exciting to watch them blossom, and especially with Ruby, because she was my biggest project, and she's thriving now. She's been with me 3.5 years and is in perfect health, and her feathers, she does pluck occasionally when she becomes hormonal. It's kind of ingrained in her now, but she's doing so much better. Jericho came to me just over a year ago, and she was completely bald in front. One owner all her life, and the owner became ill and could not care for her. So she came to me, recommended by my avian vet and a group of ladies that I work with, Parrots of the Hills. We support the Oasis Sanctuary here in Arizona. And so I'm in this entire community, and they all recommended me to take Jericho in, and I did. And a year later, she's completely refeathered.
Wow.
Toko I've had for about 1.5 years. She has not grown her feathers back. In the front, she was almost completely bald when I got her.
Did she pull the follicles out? Is that why they're not coming back? She got the follicles?
I don't think so, because she does sprout a new feather every once in a while, and it lasts for a couple of days, and then she pulls it out. But her back and her wings were completely bald, or almost completely bald. She only had one little red feather sticking out of her tail, and it was so pathetic. And she has a full tail, she has full wings, and her back is completely feathered. It's just the front she has not stopped, and so I'm not quite sure. I love them. They're perfect to me, regardless of whether they have feathers or not.
Absolutely.
I feel so much better to see them thriving, and healthy feathers is a sign of good health. And so it bothers me a little bit, but to me, she's perfect the way she is, And little Katie just came to me a couple months ago through Ginger's Parrot Rescue, and she was one of the Texas flock. She has some bald spots, but her feathers are growing back in, and it's just going to take time with her. So I don't want to promise people that the bird's feathers are going to grow back in, but I always recommend a healthy diet that's top of the line for the health of any parrot, but especially one that's been stressed or rehomed. Diet is so important. They live almost as long as humans, and you have a person who eats junk food and a person who eats health food. Who's going to have more medical issues? It's the same with birds, and the length of their life can be determined a lot of times by their diet.
Absolutely.
And bottom line, nutrition, and our motto is healthy birds through good nutrition, and we strive for that. And I've witnessed it in my own home with my own flock, and I see the difference in birds who have good diets and birds who do not. What we've done, Michael, is try to make that good nutrition simple for people, because people don't have time nor the resources to buy 25 different vegetables and chop them up and serve them in single servings for one bird or 20 birds. And so I've made my chop. We use 20 to 30 different vegetables. It's 100% vegetable based. And we've dehydrated it. It's in very small pieces, and so if you have a picky bird, they can't pick out what they like and what they don't. The pieces are small enough. So we've dehydrated it. That's made it shelf stable. You can leave it on a shelf in an airtight container for 6 to 12 months, and it's fine. You can feed it to them dry. You can reconstitute it with some warm water and give it to them soft. And so you have a convenient, healthy meal for the birds. There's no more excuses that you didn't have time to chop all these vegetables.
Well put.
You just add a water and put it in their bowl. And I understand people are busy. Life is crazy. But good nutrition is so important that we've done everything we can to make it easy.
That's fantastic. How long have you been doing this? When did you start doing, coming up with the chop idea and the other recipes? When did this all begin?
About 2.5 years ago is when I launched the website and started selling the foods.
What is your website address, please?
It's Christine's, Christines, Chop Shop, CHOPSHOP.com, and that's all one word, ChristinesChopShop.com.
Okay, and do you ship only primarily in the United States, or do you ship worldwide?
No, we only ship in the United States. I have shipped to Canada, but it's very expensive, and I can't get tracking or insurance on it, and packages have been lost. I just learned that I can ship to Puerto Rico. I was super excited about that because I know that there's several rescues down there that are in great need, and I've reached out to a couple people, and I'm waiting to hear back. We're huge in supporting rescues or even families in need. And last year during the hurricanes, we sent hundreds of boxes out to people who were evacuated, to rescues in need, to, there was a lady whose home got flooded, and they just didn't have the resources to continue feeding their birds a healthy diet. I love to help the individual in need, and I've sent many, many care packages. On our website now, we have developed a tab where we have rescues on a wish list. A rescue will send me a list of 4 items of ours that they would like to have. Their supporters can purchase at wholesale prices from us, and we will ship directly to the rescues. Any rescues out there who are interested in being on our wish list tab need only email me their details. They need to pick 4 items that they would like to have, and I would like to have a logo or a picture of some of their birds and a shipping address. We don't publish shipping addresses on the website, but people can purchase directly from us, and we will make sure that the rescue knows that it was a gift from them.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. It kind of helps us support rescues, which is nearest and dearest to my heart.
Let me ask you this real quick. Now, in reference to rescues and sanctuaries, are these particular entities, do they have to be like 501c3?
Absolutely no. Absolutely
okay,
not.
so it's any and all basically rescues and sanctuaries basically that are doing stepping up for the betterment of bird then.
Yes, Yes,
Okay.
and they can just let their supporters know, hey, go to this website if you want. And again, we are doing that at wholesale prices. Everything that I send out, Michael, is out of pocket for me. And after the hurricane season last year, I truly sent so much that my business was in jeopardy. And I have to try to ask for some help in continuing what I do. I don't want to make any money off of rescues ever. I don't have it in my heart to do that. But if their supporters want to support them in a certain way, I want to help do that. I want to facilitate it. And so wholesale prices, I'm not making a dime off of it. In fact, I'm covering the shipping for it. And so it won't hurt me financially to do that, and it still continues to help and support the rescues.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're just okay. There you go, peeps. There's another example why I just absolutely adore her. You know, and the people that I have on my show and will continue to have on my show are going to be people of the same caliber. And I reference the heart here. You know, the people that give. You know, without taking, so to speak, that have that truly know the difference between living and existing and want the very, very best for their birds. Share with us, if you would please, some of the different products basically that you offer. Now, you mentioned the chop, you know, that's dehydrated. Are there other goodies and treats and things of that nature that you also create and do?
Tons, and I'm very creative in the kitchen, and I'm always looking for other items. I know that people love to feed their birds people food. Who doesn't like to feed their bird off of their plate? I'm guilty of that too. So I look for items that people will eat, and I convert it into bird food. We have a healthy pasta blend kit. This pasta is not regular pasta because that's just empty calories for a bird. I found pastas that are made out of red lentils, chickpeas, black beans, quinoa, brown rice, all of the ancient grains, vegetables, there's kale. And we purchase all of this pasta and we mix it into a blend and we repackage it it's got its own pack of coconut oil, organic coconut oil, and it comes with a seasoned packet, which is, we have three different flavors. We have nuts and spice, we have veggie, or we have fruit flavor. And it's not unlike a box of macaroni and cheese for humans. You cook the pasta, you put the oil and the seasoned packet on it after it's cooked and serve it to your bird, and they are going nuts over it.
Sweet.
But it's healthy, Tom.
I said sweet, you know.
It's healthy, and it's a good alternative to the seeds and pellets that people give because it's very substantial for them. Mix it with veggies. It's a good vehicle to get them to eat other things they normally would not eat. One of the biggest things that people tell me is my bird is picky. They won't eat anything new. Find something that they like and incorporate it into the new things. And that's what I give people advice on. If you're trying to get them to eat some healthy grains and your bird likes applesauce, get some applesauce and put a little bit of applesauce on top, and that will get them started in eating. And it's all in the presentation. Try to find something that they're going to like and keep adding to it. And please, 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 people, be consistent and persistent. It's very important. Don't offer it to your bird once, have them throw it out, and you say your bird doesn't like it. Birds' appetites are cyclical. From being in nature, certain things grow at certain times of the year. And so naturally, their appetites change. And it's really important to keep that in mind when you're feeding your bird. They may love sweet potatoes today and hate it tomorrow. It's just their natural cycles of the seasons changing. They may like sweet potatoes all the time. You don't know. But if you find something healthy, continue to offer it. Sooner or later, your bird is going to change their eating. And it's so important.
Yeah, I've noticed that, excuse me, I've noticed that, you know, with birds over the country minute that I've been working with these guys, is that you made a really good point about, you offer them something and they throw it out and give you the look like, did IQ suddenly drop when you walked up to the cage here? And then many people will go, oh, he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it and won't try it again. Pigs, usually 9 times out of 10, it has a lot to do with color and it also has a lot to do with texture. Those are the two primary things that I have found that if they're not used to seeing it, like I've got some birds here that had never, before they came here, had never ever seen a nut of any kind. They didn't even know what they were. They didn't even know that you're supposed to get them out of a shell. Things like that. Grapes, apples, some of them just look at it and go, well, like, what is that? That's sad, right? Well, here's the whole idea is that you just keep going at it. And I also found that one of the things to help birds begin to eat some things that you would like to get them to eat that are really, really good that I've tried to do in the past, and that is I'll eat some of it in front of them. I'll just sit down, put the bird on my knee or on my chest or something and lay back and I'll start munching on this and going like, oh my God, this is good. You want to try this? And hand it over. They might take it, they might not. Take a few more bites. And then eventually they're curious. So they take a little bite and then once they do that, man, you got them and it's done,
Yeah.
So, it's like,
Yes, I agree 100%.
yeah, you gotta, as long as you've got them right where they want you, first of all, you're doing it right. But sometimes you need to lead them. I have a lot of birds here that to be honest with you, have shown me more intellect than many human beings that I know on this planet. And we can learn from them. And the more that we love them and the more we care for them, the more they're willing to teach us that beautiful, beautiful spirit that each and every one of us holds deep in our heart, to just revel in having another day, on the planet. These guys are kind of like a portal, and all you have to do is just step up and make a decision that I'm tired of it being about me. I'm going to step up for somebody else or something else here. And that's when suddenly you do realize there is a difference between living and existing. What are some of the treats and things like that you make for these guys?
Well, my most popular treat, I was blessed with a recipe from Dee Hicks of Martin's Ark. She's a dear friend, and she gave me a recipe for what we named Birdie Brittle. It didn't have the name at the time, but we needed something kind of catchy, and it's made of sweet potato puree, pumpkin puree, and then we add lots of healthy stuff to it. I use hemp seed. I use quinoa. I use bee pollen. We used to use red palm oil, but we've removed that from all of our products, and now we use organic coconut oil.
Why have you removed, excuse me, there's people out there that do use red palm oil. Could you let me know why you decided to remove that from your recipes?
Mostly because of the devastation it's causing to the environment, the production of it. I was purchasing it from a earth-friendly farm, and it was organic. But there's so much controversy out there, and I've been told by people who I hold very dear to me that it still is environmentally detrimental. And so I made the decision to remove it from my products. I don't want the controversy. I don't want to purchase anything that's destroying the earth in the production, even though the one that I was using, I believe, was not harmful. It sends a message. And
are you speaking of like the way that they process it, the byproducts of it and all, or something are toxic to other plants or other animals or things of that nature? I'm trying to follow you here.
No, they were destroying the forests in the production of it. They're tearing the trees down and destroying animal habitat.
Oh, okay. Go on.
And it's just it's a whole nother interview and conversation we could have. But and again, like I said, the controversy over it. I don't want people to be upset over a product that I was using when I can find an alternative that's safe and help.
Well, that's awesome, Christine. Because you know what? Bottom line is, you're sharing valuable information, and people that do have in the past, and some that may continue to use red palm oil, and some that may also decide, okay, it's time for a change here. You've made people aware, and that's once
Right.
again one of the really cool things that I like about you, is that you share the knowledge. You don't hoard it. You let people know of what's really, really going on here, so that we can all learn. The scariest kind of person to me is somebody that wakes up and thinks they know it all. Those are the people that kind of like really distance myself from. I want to learn as many new things as I can every single day, and just, like having you on the show here. Like, I didn't know about the red palm oil and the destruction of the trees, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really completely aware of exactly how they got the oil, out of it, so now we know. So the less that we support that particular product, then perhaps maybe in our own way, maybe a few trees will be able to last or live a little bit longer like they're entitled to.
Well,
Um,
right. And I'm not going to preach at people, and I'm certainly not going to judge. It's a personal preference. It's a personal choice. This was just a personal choice that I made, and I believe in. If you believe in something different, that's your business and your right, and I'm fine with that.
yes, well, yeah, I mean, you have to be. All you can do is put the information out there, and people are either going to go, yeah, this is cool, or no. It's a big world out there, and um, for about 30 some odd years, I used to do hair. And there was a time in my life when I thought to myself, you know what? I think that I've got a pretty good understanding of what makes the human being tick. It's like you've seen it all, you've heard it all, so to speak. And invariably, somebody would come in and sit down in my chair and put me right back to square one, man, of like, oh my gosh, where,
Oh, that's
I mean, the gene pool definitely had a sense of humor with you, honey. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa. So we all basically, the gene pool, if you will, we all come from a varied chain of intellect and response and habit reflex, so to speak. But bottom line is, those of you guys out there that have decided to take the time to step up for birds and do it for them, doesn't it just make you feel really, really good inside your heart? You look at your bird, your companion, and you hold them up close to your chest, and you close your eyes and you imagine two hearts beating as one. There's just nothing like it, man. It's just, I don't know. I could go on and on and on and on, but we have a guest,
no, I agree, and I feel exactly the same way. We are blessed to have them in our lives as our companions, and we have the duty, not just the right, but we have the duty to do the very best and return that unconditional love, and we have to do the best we can for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Let me tell you about a couple other treats that we have.
oh yes, please.
I make a birdie biscuit. These are made with coconut and almond flour, as well as flax meal, and we don't use any regular flour in any of our products. Anything that is could be not so healthy for birds, we have found bird healthy substitutes. Our biscuits, like I said, we only use almond and coconut flour in it because those are healthy items for the birds, and they're just like cookies. We put pumpkin puree in some of them. I have a nuts and spice blend that I make myself in my blender. It's star anise, it's sea leon cinnamon, it's there was one other ingredient. Oh, ginger. I use ginger in it. And then we use organic raw nuts. We have almonds, macadamias, walnuts, pecans. I grind all of that by hand in the blender, and we add that to some of our ingredients. Anything with the nuts and spice flavor, that's what's in it. And again, these are all very healthy for birds. We just started selling a line of freeze-dried items. We have our sweet treats. They're chunks of organic fruit, and they're freeze-dried, and there's a blend of them. The blend changes because the fruit is seasonal, but the birds love it. And we also have a veggie blend, which is a mix of different vegetables. It's also freeze-dried. The beauty of our products, Michael, is that they are dehydrated, or now some of them are freeze-dried. If you have a bird that's a little fussy or picky, these items can sit in a food dish for several days. I wouldn't want them to, but they can sit there. I'm just using that as an example, until the bird gets used to seeing something different. Instead of buying fresh produce and putting it in their bowl and throwing it out after a few hours, you can let it sit there until they decide it's not going to eat me. Maybe I'll try eating it. And I've gotten my birds to eat that way. And we also have our veggie blend and our fruit blend, and those are dehydrated pieces of vegetables and fruit. One of our newest products also, and the one that I am most proud of, is our daily maintenance. We have it in 3 different sizes as far as birds. We have for large birds, for medium birds, or for small birds. The medium and large blend are, again, 50% vegetables. These are all dehydrated. Then we start adding our nuts, and for the large bird, the nuts are in the shell. For the medium bird, the only nut that's in the shell are pistachios. We have organic pumpkin seeds in them. There's coconut, there's dates, there's dried fruit. And then I also add some of my raw pasta, because some of the birds like it uncooked. It gives them something to crunch on. I forgot where I was going with that. They love it, and it's such a variety of items. It gives them, like you were saying, they love different shapes and sizes and colors. The maintenance is, I call it complete, because there's so much good stuff in it that it's a perfect alternative to any seed or pellet diet, and it's fed the same way. You drop it in the bowl and you go away and let them eat it. And it's healthy. It's really, really great stuff. I found some organic cereal. These look like little Cheerios, but they're made of all of the ancient grains, and there's no sugar added. And so it's perfect for the birds. We found some flakes that are the same way. And so we've added that just to give it more color and texture and shapes. And it's been one of our most popular items. And like I said, it's the one that I'm the most proud of, because it's just perfectly complete for a good diet for these birds. The small bird blend is made of 50% of my chop, because the chop is the vegetables that are very fine. Then we add flax and chia seeds to it. I found some puffed kamut, which is an ancient grain. It's also healthy for them. We put that in there. There's star anise, there's cinnamon. It smells really nice. But again, it's perfect for anything from a cockatiel to parakeets. And I have customers that have little parrots that love this stuff. And it's great because it's convenient.
That's like you were mentioning earlier, we were living in a world of chaos and desperately searching for convenience. Yeah, let me ask you something real quick here. You mentioned that some of the products are dehydrated and some are freeze-dried. Could you break down, so to speak, to the novice, what's the difference? Why can't you just dehydrate everything? What's the difference between freeze-drying something and dehydrating it?
I can, and I did up until just a few months ago. dehydrate everything. The difference is when you freeze dry it, it removes all of the moisture by freezing it. The texture is completely different, and some birds don't like the hard and crunchy that you get from the dehydrating process. And the freeze-dried, I compare it to the little marshmallows that you get in your Lucky Charms. They can crumble. It can actually, if you don't handle it carefully, it turns into a powder. But the texture is completely different, and you can have a large piece of produce, and a small bird can eat it because it's crunchy, but it's soft all at the same time. It crumbles and powders. Now, with the dehydrating process, people have said that when you dehydrate foods, there's too much sugar in it. You're cooking all the nutrients out. I've heard a lot of negative stuff. And again, I have done my research. Please trust me on this. If you dehydrate it at a certain temperature, it is still in the raw category. You are not adding sugars. You're not adding anything to it. You are preserving it by using air. And I have the commercial grade dehydrators. There's a fan, and you set the temperature. It's warmer than in your house. It's warm air, and the fan is circulating the air, and it's drying all the moisture out of these things. And that's what makes it shelf stable. And even our ancient civilizations were dehydrating things to save foods for the winter. It's been around for so long. Right. And dehydrating is safe, and it saves the majority of the nutrients for any of the foods that we're dehydrating.
We use the Excalibur dehydrators. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they're...
I have 7 of them.
You have what?
7 of them.
That's not fair. God, I'm calling Mom. I only have 1, and I had to mortgage my house to get the darn thing. 7.
I'm working on the big one, but they're about $15,000. So that's another day and time for us. But
oh no, but I don't have the deluxe model, man. The one that will dehydrate a person if you want, man, and you're good for a couple of weeks until somebody throws you in the shower, and oh, it's me again. Wow.
Yeah, they're amazing machines, and you can control the temperature very easily with them, and that's what I like about it. And I'm not trying to keep any of the trade secrets. If you're going to dehydrate, use 110 degrees or less, and that saves 99% of the nutrients. You're always going to lose a little bit when you process any kind of food.
Yeah, that makes sense. I use as I said, one of the Excaliburs. I think it's either a 7 or 10 tray model, and we grow all of our own fruit here and veggies and stuff. And so I'll dehydrate a lot of that so they'll be able to have it in the wintertime. Banana chips, bananas, things like that, and different types of fruits, and crookneck squash and stuff like that, and you name it. There's some stuff, I've tried to do, and then I'll go to taste it, and I'm going like, no, we're not going to do this. If I want to throw it as into the icy colds of space, I'm certainly not going to give it to my bird. I mean, some things go real good doing that, and some things just aren't meant to be dehydrated, man. They're just going to give it up.
I have just learned how to make my own jerky, and it's crazy good. But it's trial and error, like you said. Some things turn out and some don't. Now I have found that with the freeze-dried items, it retains a little more of the flavor. The those freeze-dried veggies, I boil myself some chicken stock, and I dump the same veggies that I sell for the people with birds. I dump a bag of that in a pot of chicken stock and call it dinner, and it's delicious. It retains the flavor of the produce just a little better, and I'm not quite sure why. The dehydration process, because I use the lower temperatures, takes several days. It's not something that I'm going to rush because of food safety and for nutrition. But I don't know if that has something to do with it losing some of its flavor. or what?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that either. I guess we just continue to experiment. Christine, let me ask you something here. Well, first of all, once again, I want to thank you very, very much for, taking this valuable time to share, your beautiful creativity, your research, your ongoing research, and the betterment of diet for birds and things of that nature. Um, can I ask you, in the very beginning, what motivated you to have an interest in birds? Is there a particular story or something that kind of comes to mind that just all of a sudden, maybe you were a cat person or a pocket pet person for years or whatever, and then just one day a bird came into your life and just flipped you right upside down and changed your life forever? What motivated?
Yeah, that would be my gizmo. Yeah, I've always been an animal lover. I've always been a cat person, a dog person. I've had ferrets. I've had hamsters. I've always had this deep emotional need to have animals in my life because that unconditional love that they give you, and I got a wild hair one day. I've always had an interest in birds, but never knew anything about them. And I had just gotten a bonus from work, and I decided I'm going to go get the cockatoo that I have always wanted. And I went over to our local bird store. Again, I didn't understand the need for rescue and all of that. And I walked in and I talked to the young man that was working there, and I told him I want a cockatoo. And so he showed them to me, and I started talking with them and playing with them, and I just knew I wanted one of these creatures in my life. And he started talking to me about my lifestyle, about my schedule, about other things. And I have a very busy life even before the chop shop came about. And so in asking me questions about my life, he knew a cockatoo would not do well in my home because they're very needy emotionally and physically, and they don't thrive in a home where you're gone for many hours at a time. And I was heartbroken, and I finally just asked him, is there a kind of bird that would do well? Because in the back of my mind, the animal's welfare is always number one with me. Kathy LaFollette has taught me that we are advocates, and that word fits me to a T. I always put the animals first. I don't have it in me to be selfish and not put them first. If I bring them into my life, I want them to do well. And being heartbroken and not having the bird of my dreams, this young man said an African gray would do much better in your home because they're very independent. They can occupy themselves. And he went on to explain the personality of an African gray. And I had known of them, but I never really had a lot of interest in an African gray. And I said, okay, and I told him I said I would consider it, but I had never thought of one of those in my life for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, do you have any African grays? He says, we have a baby back in the baby room. And he took me back to the baby room and showed me Gizmo. And I stuck my finger in his little cage, and he started sucking on my finger. And I looked at the young man and I said, hand me my checkbook.
I love it.
He stole my heart right there. And I knew that not only was he mine, but I was his. And I'm almost in tears talking about it because it was just an instant bond. And I spent every single afternoon over there feeding him and bonding with him before I even brought him home. And he came home to live with me. And then I decided he needed some company. And I ended up with Ruby a couple years later. And she was my biggest accomplishment because that's where Chop Shop started. And Tina Marie, we all know Tina Marie, she's our beloved artist in the avian world, had adopted Toko and could not keep her, but she lives in Chicago and I'm in Mesa, Arizona. And I saw the first picture of Toko, and I said, I want her. She's mine. I'm hers, without even meeting her.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with Tina and the Illinois Parrot Rescue, George, and we made arrangements, and it was several months later, but Toko, I flew to Chicago to bring Toko home with me. I picked her up out of her cage, and she cuddled up right under my neck, and she stole my heart. If there was any feel, and just my very first meeting, I was already so madly and deeply in love with this sweet little soul. And then I had the opportunity to get Jericho. I'm becoming known for having these African Greys and them thriving with me. And so Dr. Driggers, Arizona Avian and Exotic Clinic, and Ginger with Ginger's Parrot Rescue, the ladies from the Parrots of the Hills, all decided that Jericho would do well in my home, and they contacted me. And I went and got Jericho without a question. Ginger contacted me with Katie, and so now I have a flock of 5, and I've had these crazy ideas lately, which would be several years in the future, that I may want to start an African Grey rescue of my own, because these birds are so special to me.
Well, it sounds like you already have.
Yeah, I do, but
okay,
I have no room for the flock to get any bigger right now, so I need to expand.
I just meant coming from your heart. You're already doing that. And also feeding them the best possible foods in order to make sure that they live as long as they're intended to live. 80 to 100 years, that's a long time, and you hit the nail right on the head when you mentioned earlier diet and lack of stress. And if you eat good and you stay as far away from the stress monster as you possibly can, folks, you're going to live a lot longer, and your birds are going to live a lot longer. And that's the secret. That's what's not a secret anymore, like you said earlier. Okay, we're busted, man. All you got to do is love them and do it right, man. And get in touch with Christine's Chop Shop. And get some of these awesome treats, get some of these awesome meals for your babies. Why? Because they deserve it, and you know it. Christine, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us tonight, for sharing your magic, your creativity, and as well as many people right now that are listening to you, I know truly wish you well. I want you guys to take and please explore this, christineschopshop.com, and take a look at what she has to offer. If you guys are rescues or sanctuaries, things of that nature, you can set up a wish list on there and have people that care about what it is that you're doing, and perhaps get some of these wonderful treats and foods through the beaks of your babies as well too. Okay, you're in Mesa, Arizona, and that's kind of my old stomping grounds too, you guys. I graduated from Chandler High, but that's another story. That was back when I think we just invented the Easter Bunny or something. But anyway, it was a while ago. Christine, thank you, sweetheart, very, very much. I'm definitely going to be getting in touch with you, by the way, because I've got, we have a few beaks here, that would, I know, definitely would benefit from some of the awesome, beautiful products that you created from the heart. And the cool thing about it for me is that when you're mentioning that when you fed your grays, the pluckers and the ones that, they're in so much better health now, and the lavender and the chamomile tea coupled with that, and all. She shared a lot of really, really good insight, and I implore you to please follow her lead on this. This lady knows what she's doing. Her birds are living proof of it, and she's got an awesome heart. Christine, Thank you very, very much. We definitely do want you back because I know that probably when you hang up the phone, you're going to be starting on your next recipe. Because it just seems like it's a nonstop kind of thing for you. And bless your heart for doing that. And I want to, stay in touch with you. And piles of smiles, and welcome to another day in our universal playground. And thank you so very, very much. Would you please mention your website again?
Christine'sChopShop.com. Michael, please let me say two more things.
Oh, absolutely.
In support of rescue, and I don't care if you are a rescue, a 501c, a sanctuary, or a person who has taken in a rescued bird. We always offer a 10% discount to anyone who has anything to do with rescues. They only need to use the word rescue in the coupon code at checkout. They will receive a 10% discount every single purchase. There is no limit to that. Also, if you have a bird who has been plucking, I'm happy to help you nutritionally. But the most important thing you need to do first is have them checked by an avian vet. There are many reasons for a bird to pluck, and we need to make sure that they are cleared as far as their health, no parasites, illnesses, injuries, stuff like that. I always advocate visiting with an avian vet first. We can only help nutritionally. I cannot help medically, and that's really super important.
Okay. Good advice. Thank you.
Okay. I'm honored to have been here with you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And like I said, piles of smiles. Welcome to another day on the planet. And from our nest to yours, wingy hugs, lots of wet, beaky kisses, and go and have a great, awesome rest of your day. And thank you for spending the time with us this evening. Bless your heart, honey, and thank you. We would like to extend a sincere thank you to Tom Rowdybush, the creator of Rowdy Bush Foods. Find out the reasons Rowdy Bush Food is the right choice for keeping your birds healthy and happy. When nutrition is important, Rowdy Bush Premium Foods are second to none. Rowdy Bush Incorporated manufactures specialized bird foods. This manufacturing is a result of the research by an avian nutritionist, Tom Rowdybush. During his 16 years of nutritional research in the Department of Avian Sciences at the University of California, Davis, Tom studied a variety of birds, including 10 years of research on the nutritional requirements of companion birds. Mr. Rowdybush has generated most of the published nutritional research in pet birds. As far as pellets are concerned, Rowdybush is what we feed our flock exclusively here at the Global Nest Exotic Bird Sanctuary. Rowdybush.com. That's ROUDYBUSH.com. You can order direct by calling them at 1-800-326-1726. Once again, 1-800-326-1726. Thank you.